So the bridge
There's your
is
bridge.
finished. That's a beauty. That is very nice. That's Brazilian rosewood, of course. It's old Brazilian rosewood, so don't start writing me letters about how I'm deforesting the Amazon, because this was probably cut in 1960 or so.
Yeah, it was, I think, early 60s
65
when the
maybe.
guy brought it in.
So this has been around, but we made use of it. It's just a little scrap, so we'll only go to jail for a little while. What is going on now?
Well, now we're going to position it on the soundboard of the guitar and get it glued on. This is kind of a slow, painstaking process. I'll show you the best I can. First thing I'm going to do is make a little pencil mark kind of even with the outer strings, because that'll help me align the bridge from side to side.
Gotcha.
But basically what I have to do with getting the bridge on here is make sure it's in the correct position this way, so that the strings are pretty evenly spaced on either edge of the fretboard.
Right.
And then, really more importantly, make sure it's in the correct position front to back so that the intonation is right.
Exactly.
Now, this fretboard is actually slotted so that we're dealing with a 17.0 inch scale. You can see the 12th fret is right at the 8.5 inch mark. So theoretically then, wow, look at that, I put it right in the right spot.
Viola.
Viola indeed. Theoretically, we would have the bridge stopping at 17 inches because that's twice the distance from the 12th fret. But you have to do something called compensation, which really what it boils down to is the strings get higher off the fretboard as you move farther up the neck. So because the strings are higher up, that means every time you depress one to get a note, the higher up the neck you go, the more you're distorting the string, because it has to be displaced farther.
Right. You have to push it down further.
Yeah, so the tendency is for the strings to get sharp, or the pitches to
Exactly.
go sharp as you move up the neck. So by backing the fretboard up about 1/10 of an inch, you compensate for that. So that's what a compensated bridge is all about. And then, like I was telling you earlier, we've got a nice wide saddle that we're dealing with here. It's about 1/8 of an inch wide. So once we string up the instrument, if we have to make little adjustments to intonation, I can do that by recrowning the saddle, make the string stop at the beginning of that 1/8 of an inch or right at the back edge of that 1/8 of an inch.
We're not going to use the piezo we had thought about, and that's what we were cutting it for. But truthfully, I don't like the sound of piezos a bit, and they quack. They don't have a very like Gary doesn't like them either. So
nobody likes them.
I don't think so. It's just
it's a compromise. People are, they're looking for a sound. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm using this straight edge. Boy, it's so dim in here. There, now I can see a little bit. And I'm putting the straight edge right at the pencil mark I made for the 6th string, and right at the edge of the fretboard at the 0 fret. And I'm going to measure up here at the 17th fret how much clearance I have. It's just a shade under 4 millimeters. And forgive me for bouncing from inches to millimeters. It's just easier for me for some reason. So now I'm going to check it at this edge, and it's just a shade over 4 millimeters. Boy, that's really close to the same. Yeah, that's pretty close. I'm not going to move it. Normally, I'm not that good at guessing the placement, and I have to maneuver the bridge around quite a bit to get the spacing exactly the same, but
But Michael Bublé on the radio has inspired you.
Is that who that is?
Yeah.
I know you like him.
He's one of my favorite pop singers.
Okay, so what I'm doing now, I've got the ruler set right at the crown of the 0 fret.
Oops. So the
So
ruler is exactly at the crown.
0 is right in the middle of 0.
Mm-hmm.
And then metrically, because I'm going to shift now,
Mm-hmm.
the 12th fret is at 216 millimeters.
Mm-hmm.
So twice that would be 432 millimeters.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Hey, thanks. And then I'm going to add 3 millimeters to it. So I would want the middle of the saddle slot to be at 437. See, now I've got this bridge way out of position.
Right.
So I'm going to have to move it, and it's probably going to affect the side-to-side placement too. But, so now I'll just play with this a little bit. So what I do is check the slot at the edges of the fretboard to make sure it's lined up right. That was 216, wasn't it? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see, this one's a little bit forward on the bass side. So I'm going to hold on to the treble side and just push the bass side of the bridge back about 1.5 millimeters.